And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the
classic.
Hello vinyl community. It's been a while since I've made a vinyl finds video. Well, this isn't just vinyl finds, this is also including the stuff I got for Christmas and the record fair that was at the beginning of the month. And obviously freebies that I get from work, because I get freebies when there's stuff that I want. So I'll start with the freebies and then we'll work our way through them. So basically the story behind these freebies is we were going through the stock room at work and we found a load of stuff that we could put out, and so, well, except for one of them, which I'll talk about in a minute, but these freebies, these were all in the stock room and my boss said take what you want. So obviously I didn't take too much stuff, but I did take him up and took what I wanted. So we'll start with Colonel Abrams, Trapped on 12-inch. Didn't have this. This is probably his best song, if I'm being honest. It's on MCA. Very nice song there. And of course, one I had ages ago, but seemed to have misplaced somewhere along the lines. I've no idea where it went. But it is the 12-inch single for Billy Ocean's When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Gets Going. I do really like Billy Ocean's music, so being a DJ, I needed this on 12-inch because it's a very, very popular song. And I don't know where mine went, obviously on Jive. But yeah, nice to finally have that one back in the collection. Right, next up is the Carpenters, the singles, 1969 to 1973. I like the Carpenters, I'll admit, especially around the holiday season, like Christmas time and stuff. My dad always used to play them when I was growing up, so I had to grab that one. Very nice condition copy. We had loads of these, so obviously I grabbed one for myself. It's got We've Only Just Begun, Top of the World, their cover of Ticket to Ride, and Close to You, which I'm a little bit confused by this one. I don't know if it's a fault in the pressing or they've done that on purpose, but the first few seconds of Close to You plays before We've Only Just Begun starts on side 1. I don't know if that is a pressing fault or if they've done that deliberately, but I don't mind. I really don't mind. It sounds cool the way they've done it, but yeah, Carpenters, the singles. I'm not the biggest fan of the Carpenters, so grabbing a somewhat best of and having that in my collection, I will settle with that. Next thing I have to show you is Kris Kristofferson, songs of Kristofferson, of course, country singer. This is basically a best of. Not a big fan of his, but when I found this and it had Help Me Make It Through the Night on it, which is one of my favourite songs of all time, I had to grab it. Obviously famously covered by Gladys Knight and the Pips, also covered by John Holt, so it's got quite a few covers, but I love an original version. I'm not a massive fan of country music, but I do like Kris Kristofferson, so made sure I added that one to my collection. Haven't played that one yet, but I can tell you now I'm going to like it. And finally, this one I grabbed, and although there's water damage on the cover, the vinyl itself is actually really nice. It's Johnny Nash's Greatest Hits. We lost Johnny Nash earlier on in the year. The same day we lost Van Halen, rest in peace. But this has so many obviously so many of his popular songs. I Can See Clearly Now, his cover of Stir It Up by Bob Marley, Cupid, which was originally done by Sam Cooke, Guava Jelly and Nice Time, both by Bob Marley again. He did a lot of Bob Marley covers, but yeah, Johnny Nash, love his voice, love his vocals. So when he passed away, it did hit me a little bit hard, but it did make me want to make sure I grabbed an album of his, and his greatest hits is obviously the one I decided to make sure I grabbed. So yeah, Johnny Nash's greatest hits, grabbed that one. They're the stockroom stuff. Now on to what I made sure I also have. The story behind this one is we made an order for the shop, and part of the order never came through, so my boss got in touch with the company, they sent out replacements, and then the other one showed up. You know, that typical, you order something, you don't get it, you ask for a replacement or a refund, they send the replacement, and then two show up at the same time. It's kind of like that. And so, instead of trying to sell it in the shop and charge anyone for it, I got the free one. It's Rosa Parks 12-inch by Outkast, the Record Store Day. This came out, this came out on Record Store Day 2018. I thought it was a luminous vinyl, but it doesn't look like it is. I haven't seen it to be. But yeah, this is one of my favourite Outkast songs. I didn't have any Outkast stuff on vinyl, so I was stoked to grab this. Obviously has the radio version, the instrumental, the main version, and the a cappella, all on the flip side. But yeah, gotta love a bit of Outkast, especially Rosa Parks. So grabbed that, happy with that, and cannot express that enough. Right, next up is all the stuff from the record fair. And I'll show this off here. I'll start with the 7-inch singles I picked up, because I tend to pick up a lot of 7s, especially more now. And I know I'm not DJing at the minute because obviously no venues are open, but I'm constantly grabbing stuff for when they do, and I'm basically just stacking my ammo for when I'm allowed to go out and DJ again. So I picked up Average White Band, Pick Up the Pieces. Don't know if you can really see that well, but it's backed with You Got It. Obviously Pick Up the Pieces is a massive Average White Band song, so grabbing that was ideal. Just trying to figure out where I can put these. I Wish by Stevie Wonder, for the Stevie Wonder collection, one I didn't have yet, so I had to grab that. And then it's got You and I on the flip. This is a Canadian pressing of that 7, so super stoked about that one. Earth, Wind and Fire, September. I needed an upgrade copy because mine was very crackly and just didn't sound good, so this is a brilliant upgrade for me. And it's got Can't Hide Love on the flip side. Sister Sledge, He's the Greatest Dancer, backed with Somebody Loves Me, an American pressing. It's obviously a reissue on Cotillion Records, but very nice. Didn't have that one yet. And then No Ordinary Love by Sade, backed with the Paradise remix. This is my favourite Sade song, so I wasn't passing up the opportunity to grab this one on a 7-inch. Happy with that one. The rest of the stuff I grabbed, a few 12s and some albums. So I'll show the stuff off of one guy first, and then stuff off another guy, and then we'll get to that. So first up, Snoop Dogg, What's My Name? Obviously one of Snoop Dogg's most famous songs. There it is. It's got the explicit club mix, the LP version, the clean club mix, and the clean radio mix. But yeah, love this song by Snoop, needed that, so happy to add that to the collection. And then Patrice Russen's Forget-Me-Nots, special dance mix, back to Haven't You Heard and Never Gonna Give You Up. Great song from Patrice. I had it on 7, didn't have it on 12 inch, so happy to grab that one. From the same guy who had those, I grabbed a Stevie Wonder album I didn't have yet, Stevie at the Beach, his 4th album I think, and the last one he really did before he broke away from his Little Stevie phase. And this may be the shortest Stevie Wonder album I've ever listened to, because all the songs on here are about 2 minutes long. And he plays the harmonica a lot on this album. I think this is maybe has more harmonica solos in it than any other Stevie Wonder album that I've ever listened to as well. But yeah, Stevie Wonder, Stevie at the Beach, didn't have this one yet, so had to grab it. It's a French reissue from 1987, obviously of his 1964 album, so it is about 4th in his catalogue, in his discography. Like I said, did not have this one yet at all, so happy to have this one in the collection added. Stevie Wonder's Stevie at the Beach, one I didn't have yet, one for the Stevie Wonder collection. Is it my favourite Stevie Wonder album? No, but hey, I'm happy to have anything by Stevie. And it's still good, but it would, if I'm talking about my favourite Stevie albums, this one probably wouldn't come into the conversation. But it's definitely one that's underrated, I would say. But a good one, nonetheless. Finally, off that one guy at the record fair, I also found one album I was missing from this list, and that's Lilo Thomas, All of You. 80s R&B, has his big songs Your Love's Got a Hold on Me, Settle Down, and Show Me, as well as his cover of My Girl, which was big. Basically, Lilo Thomas, he had 3 albums back in the mid to late 80s, all of which I have been hunting down for a while. This was the only one I was missing. Before he was a singer, he was an Olympic runner. I think he was on Olympic level, and then he was involved in a major car accident that obviously affected his running career. So he had to pursue in singing, and it did well for him. Really did, because, you know, he's still putting music out to this day. So, but his first 3 albums are all fantastic and all well worth listening to. This was like I said, this was the only one I was really missing from those first 3 albums from Lilo. So super stoked to have this one, add this one to the collection, and cannot wait to give this one a few more spins. Okay, on to the next guy that I saw at the record fair. I really don't see many people there, I just see the ones we deal with regularly. But he had a few things specifically for me, which I was buzzing about. First up is Change. 12 inch, You Are My Melody, also has The Glow of Love and Hold Tight on this. You Are My Melody is one of my favourite Change songs, and Change is famously the group where Luther Vandross found his fame from in the soul scene, and then broke out on his own and probably made it bigger than Change did. Yeah, all these songs, obviously You Are My Melodies off their 2nd or 3rd album. It's still a good song. All of the songs on here are really good, but Change is one of my favourite soul groups. Anything from them I'll pick up. I do have You Are My Melody on a 12 inch already, but obviously Glow of Love and Hold Tight are not on the flip side of that one, so happy to grab that one. Next, a couple of things off one of my favourite record labels, Prelude, So we have a white label promo of Weeks and Company's Go With The Flow. Has the long version, the short vocal version, and the instrumental on the flip. Very good. I do like a white label promo. But yeah, I do also really love this label. Anything on Prelude I'll pick up. It's sort of, the best way I guess I can describe it is it's 80s R&B, but it's all very synth based. They did a lot of disco as well. But yeah, like I said, one of my favourite labels, and I will grab anything from them on that label. So grab that one. Oh, sorry. And then also on that label, grabbed Passion, Don't Stop My Love, which has the instrumental on the flip side as well. This is what the label typically looks like when it's not a white label. It's got like a disco dance floor on it. And out of the two, I don't remember which one I preferred. It might have been this one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, like I said, anything on Prelude, I will grab it and give it a spin, because it is one of my favourite labels. And Don't Stop My Love was written by Kashif, who is one of my favourite artists, so of course I grabbed that one. On to the albums that I picked up from him. Let's start off with Evelyn King, I'm in Love. Of course we all know Evelyn King, didn't have any of her albums yet. Happy to have this one, with songs like, obviously the title track, I'm in Love, has If You Want My Lovin', The Other Side of Love, What You Waiting For, The Best Is Yet To Come. Some great songs on this album, of course. American Pressing, yeah, just brilliant stuff. The guy who I got these off as well, he has a lot of former DJs collections that he's getting rid of slowly, sorting through and getting rid of, so that's why I always make sure I go to him, because he has a lot of stuff that I'm looking for, and that was one of them. As was this, BT Express, Do It Till You're Satisfied. Finally have a copy of this album in my collection. Obviously has the big track, which was, well, Do It Till You're Satisfied. Everyone has sampled this, from Dr. Dre to you name it. If you listen, everyone sampled at least BT Express. This is from 1974. I think this is probably their most famous album, just for the song Do It Till You're Satisfied, but really, really love this album. Finally happy to own it in the collection. And yeah, just love BT Express. Sorry if I'm speeding through some stuff here, it's just because I'm trying to get through everything, and obviously some of this stuff you would have seen before from other people in the vinyl community, but other stuff you wouldn't have. So one more thing to show from that dealer in the record fair, and then we'll move on to some other stuff that I have here.
Sorry, I didn't itch your nose.
That's alright. Is it on camera, you picking your nose?
I didn't pick it, I just itched it. It looked like I picked it.
Anyway, one of my biggest goals for 2020, and I made this, I said this last year in 2019 at some point, my biggest goal was to make sure I picked up more soundtracks, and I've managed to do that quite well. I've managed to pick up a lot of my favourite soundtracks or film scores, and I couldn't believe my luck when I saw this. I didn't believe he had it, and this is one I never thought I would own, just because of how rare it is, and another musician we lost earlier on in the year as well. When he died, all of his soundtracks went up in price. Now, of course, I'm talking about Ennio Morricone. This is the soundtrack to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My favourite Western film ever. My favourite Clint Eastwood film, probably. And I always see cheap reissues of this on the Music for Pleasure label, but it always combines this and Fistful of Dollars and a few dollars more soundtracks with this, but I've never actually seen this soundtrack, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So of course when he had it up on the wall behind him, I said, "Get that down. That's coming home with me." Like what I said when I saw this one.
That's coming home with me.
Yeah.
I don't know that. That wouldn't have came home with you.
I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
But-
You know, my resolution was to not talk throughout your video. And I failed already. We've not even started yet.
It's alright. Anyway, Good, the Bad and the Ugly soundtrack. Never thought I'd own this. Obviously has the main title from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And the famous Ecstasy of Gold, which Metallica opens all their live concerts with. Happy to finally own this. And it's a super, super clean copy as well. Never ever thought I'd see a copy of this, let alone a copy this clean. Not going to show up that well on camera, but it is super, super clean. So stoked to have a copy of this in the collection, in the soundtrack collection, and yeah, just so glad that. But yeah, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly soundtrack, super glad I have this one in the collection finally. And yeah, very, very happy with it, so glad to own that. And that was probably going to be the last soundtrack I find of 2020. I do have one more, but it wasn't one that I found, so we'll talk about that in a bit, obviously. But for now, let's talk about a couple of new releases before we get to Christmas presents and stuff. Oh, before I get to new releases, however, I do want to talk about this. Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. I haven't opened it yet, it's still sealed, it's a Rhino reissue. I don't know how good it's going to sound. But of course, this is the album with Respect on it from 1967. I don't remember if it's I think it's something crazy like her 6th or her 7th album. But I do know Aretha's got a lot of albums, and I know I didn't have enough Aretha. But yeah, Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. So finally happy to have this one. I've been looking for a copy of this for ages, and so super happy to own that. Like I said, it's still sealed because I haven't listened to it yet, but and now the Aretha movie's been pushed back to 2021. That was probably the movie I was looking forward to the most this year, but of course, with everything that's going on in the world, they've had to push that back. But yeah, once that comes out properly, I will watch that. But finally happy to own some Aretha, especially as when she died, her albums became like trying to find gold at the end of the rainbow. Anyway, I'll show you the new releases, and then I'll show off the rest of the 7-inch singles, and then we'll end it off with the Christmas presents. So the new release of the month is Arctic Monkeys' Royal Albert Hall. You guys know Arctic Monkeys are my favourite band already, and I will grab anything from them to support them. This is the concert they did in support of War Child. So they didn't make any money off this concert, they're not making any money off this album. All the money from this...
It goes with your top.
It does, doesn't it? But all the money from this goes to the War Child charity. But of course this was I didn't get to see them on this, at this concert, but I did see them later on in the year that they did this, because this was recorded in 2018. In support of the new album that was coming. Actually, I think the album had just come out at that point. Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. But obviously covers everything, has songs from all 6 of their albums. It's a nice, beautiful packaging. If I open it up, you can see it's the Royal Albert Hall there, and then also pictures of the show at the Royal Albert Hall. They're the inner sleeves, stripy and stuff, the track listing, the crew, the credits. I just opted for the standard black vinyl edition. There is a clear vinyl version, but I didn't really want that one. I knew I wouldn't listen to this one that often, but when I just want a nice Arctic Monkeys compilation, this will be one I go to. It's a very good live album. It's probably one of the best ones I've heard in a very long time. The recording is brilliant, the pressing itself is brilliant. They've really put an effort into this album, so Arctic Monkeys Royal Albert Hall is an album one live album I definitely recommend, and would have made my top 10 of 2020 if I was including live albums, but because I don't, I missed it. But yeah, brilliant album. Do love Arctic Monkeys quite a bit, just off this one.
Quite a bit.
But yeah, Arctic Monkeys Royal Albert Hall, a fantastic live album from them, and cannot wait to spin this a bit more. Another new release here, and this is one that, well, it's a 7-inch release. There's a company called Mr. Bongo, and they're doing a lot of DJ friendly reissues on 7, and then also do a few albums in 12 inches here and there as well. But what brought them to fame was their what are you doing with your mouth? What were you doing with your mouth?
It's gone kind of numb.
Oh.
And I was trying to...
Oh, okay. Anyway, as I was saying, there's this company called Mr. Bongo, and what brought them into the fame, really, was their famous 7-inch hip-hop reissues. They've done Insane in the Brain by Cypress Hill, they've done I Know You Got Soul, Eric B. Rakim, Nas, The World Is Yours. They've done some Ultramagnetic MC 7 inches, Souls of Mischief, 93 to Infinity. This was the most recent one to come out from them. It's Main Source, Looking at the Front Door. Brilliant. All their stuff is super high quality as well. They really put some thought into their reissues, and so I opted for the turquoise colour vinyl edition. I don't normally go for coloured 7 inches because obviously I play these out, but I mean I like that colour, so I just grabbed that one. Obviously got Looking at the Front Door on one side and Watch Roger Do His Thing on the flip. Brilliant song. I do love Main Source's first album. When I went digging with Tim from High Noon's Vinyl back in February of 2019, he found the 12-inch single for this, and I was gutted that I missed out on it. So when this 7-inch came about for me to grab it, I didn't hesitate. So now I can finally play the song out and not have to take the album with me when I do. So yeah, and if you are UK, and if you're looking for some good DJ friendly reissues of hip hop or funk or soul or just rare crate digging stuff, check out Mr. Bongo. They've got some amazing stuff on there. Anyway, on to the rest of the 7s, and then like I said, we'll get to some promo. We'll get to the Christmas presents. Some of these are from the charity shop. One of these I picked up just because it's my favourite song of the year, and one of them's a freebie, so I'll show you that. It's River Deep Mountain High from the Supremes and the Four Tops, so it's not the version that Ike and Tina did, but brilliant nonetheless. And then backed with It's Got to Be a Miracle, also by the Supremes and the Four Tops. But I do love River Deep Mountain High. Their version's brilliant. So yeah, had to grab that. I'll save my favourite song of the year for last, I think, because that's probably going to surprise some people. But yeah, let's get on to with these 4. These are all charity shop finds. Too Hot by Kool and the Gang, and it's back with Tonight's the Night. Brilliant 7-inch there. One of my favourite Kool and the Gang songs. Yazoo's Don't Go, backed with Winter Kills. And this is actually the misprint one, which I didn't notice in the store when I checked the condition. But if you look on side B of the label, I don't know how well this is going to come up on camera there, if it will focus. But if you can see it, Alison Moyet's name is spelled with 2 L's instead of 1. And that's the misprint, which I didn't notice before. Which, yeah, that's interesting, but literally just grabbed it because it was Yazoo's Don't Go. That one's for DJing with, as is this, OJ's Love Train. Love the OJ. Unfortunately, it's a reissue on CBS. It's not the original that came out on the Philadelphia International, but it's got Who Am I on the flip. But I did pick it up for Love Train. And then Ohio Players with Fire. You don't see any Ohio Players 7s a lot. This has got Together on the flip, but once again picked it up for Fire. Okay, my favourite song of the year on 7, and it actually came out in 2019, and it's probably my most played song of 2020. The song I probably heard the most in 2020. But it is Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. It's the same song both sides. So, I mean, it's nothing special.
Yeah, I must admit, you did play that a lot.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I still do. But
Yes, you did.
very, very nice 7-inch single. Very good pressing of this. Finally, so happy to have this, and I probably will play this out when I'm DJing. I'll find somewhere to play it. But very, very nice song. I really like it. It's got a very 80s feel to it. It sort of sounds like Aha's Take On Me, but sort of doesn't.
Ooh, I've never noticed that before. I do see that though. I do see it.
But yeah, Weeknd's Blinding Lights, absolutely fantastic, and that is my most played song of the year, which I'll admit to that. So, Christmas presents, and then we'll wrap this video up. So, with what I got from work for Christmas, I got a couple of 12-inch singles. They're reissues, but I don't mind. This is Steve Monite. I can never pronounce his name, but Only You.
That's
Monite? Steve Monite? Steve Monite? Steve Monite? Whatever.
I'm sure it's Monite.
Frankie, it's got the...
T, so it's right.
Okay. Steve Monite. With Only You. Frankie Francis Disco Jam Mix on one side, and then Happy Dio's Taboo the Rock. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I know I'm going to butcher it. But my boss knew I was looking for a copy of the Steve Monite track. What happened was he's a one-hit wonder artist out of Nigeria, I believe. It's either Ghana or Nigeria, one of the two. But I think he was a prince, and he wanted to put a song out. And then the original now fetches for easily £1,000 plus, just because Thelonious London and Tame Impala did a cover of it. And Frank Ocean also did a cover of it, I think live at a festival somewhere. And ever since then, the price of the original shot up to like £1,000. But super happy to have this one. That was a brilliant present there. And the other one is Larry Wu, Let Me Show You, which is one of my favourite soul songs as well. Originally from 1984, this reissues from 2018, but it's on Atlantic, as you can see. 180 gram reissue, and it's got the instrumental on the flip. But absolutely love this song, can't get enough of it. So I'm super happy with both of those from work presents. And yeah, now I'll get on to what I got off my brothers, and then on to what my beautiful fiance got me for Christmas. Starting off with what my brothers got me. They got me a soundtrack, and it's the soundtrack to one of my favourite animes, and I hadn't even realised that this was coming out, and then when they gave it to me for Christmas, I was blown away by it. So it is the soundtrack to Cowboy Bebop. The soundtrack has been out before. There's been bootlegs of it, there's been There was a reissue of it, I think, from America in late 2018, I believe. But that now is ridiculously priced because it was limited edition. This is a very nice reissue. I'm glad that I was gutted when I missed out on the opportunity to get this soundtrack officially the first time around, but I'm now really, really pleased I have an official one. Like I said, my favourite anime. Even from when I was growing up, I used to watch it all the time, so this recent reissue of it is fantastic. Love the gatefold in there as well. And it's a beautiful colour on the vinyl. There's the inner sleeve. One of Spike, the main character there. The group who did the soundtrack are called Seatbelts, and the colour of the first disc is a beautiful purple marble sort of vinyl. Haven't listened to this yet, unfortunately, but I've listened to the soundtrack so much anyway. It'll literally just be me listening to the sound quality of it. And then the second disc, there's the other inner sleeve. And then this one is on like a red and gold marble vinyl, which does also look really cool. So I am super happy with this soundtrack. Love it. My best stuff of one of my favourite, probably the favourite soundtrack of the year to come out, because it's an anime I've been watching since I was a kid, and I still revisit it from time to time today, and love the soundtrack. Can't get enough of it. So super stoked to finally have a reissue of it and have it on vinyl officially. So very, very pleased with that one. Alright, we're nearly done. This video is stretching to 40 minutes now, and we're nearly there. On to what my fiance got me for Christmas. And now, this one was actually kind of an early Christmas present. Or it was an early Christmas present, wasn't it?
What? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this was an early Christmas present because I gave her one and she felt bad, so she gave me one, and it contains my favourite song of the year. It's The Weeknd's After Hours album. Brilliant. It says Deluxe Edition. I don't quite know what it means. But yeah, one of my favourite albums of the year. Love, love, love it. Opens with Alone Again. Blinding Lights is track 9 on the album. It's got Heartless, which was his first single off the album. In Your Eyes is another single off the album, and also did a remix of it featuring Kenny G. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. This is probably The Weeknd's best album that he's done since, well, in the whole decade career that he's had, and I can't wait to see what else he puts out, because this is him only just beginning. And I do believe this is him combining elements of all his previous albums and mixtapes, putting them into play here, and then also adding a few 80s elements in to the mix as well. Absolutely phenomenal album. Loved this, so thank you for getting me this album. I cannot. Oh, and there's the gatefold as well, by the way. But yeah.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, absolutely brilliant album. Love it. So, like I said, I've played Blinding Lights so much this year that you're probably sick of hearing it. And finally, we're going to close it off with, because this is probably, I don't like to pick favourites, but out of all the gifts I've probably got, this is probably my favourite one. Also off my beautiful fiance, and she knew how much I liked this artist. Because I'm trying to get all his albums, and I'm still missing a few. But thankfully, this is one I'm no longer missing, and it's Relapse by Eminem. I remember when this album came out, and it blew me away. It did. Songs like 3 AM, Bagpipes from Baghdad, We Made You, Crack a Bottle, Underground, Beautiful. Beautiful's a great song, probably my favourite song of the whole album. But I would not say that there is a bad track on this album. Eminem has gone on record, so he's not a big fan of this album himself, but personally I like it a lot. I think it's brilliant. Mainly that might be down to the sentimental value behind it, but I am a massive fan of Eminem and I'm a massive fan of this album. So I am so glad that I finally have a copy of Relapse to add to my collection and fill another hole in where my Eminem collection is. I'm still missing, I think I'm still missing about 3 or 4 of his albums, but I'm super glad I have this one finally. So, and
I was so excited when you saw it.
I couldn't believe it, and it's an original press as well. It's a 2009 original press, which is even better. So super glad I have this one, and cannot wait to spin it loads more.
He's already spun it loads.
Yeah, and we're on. Yep. Anyway, so everything there is all stuff I picked up in December. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one, but I wanted to kind of show everything in one video. So thanks so much for bearing with. Stay tuned for the next video, because that's going to be my top 10 albums of 2020. And I know I did my 2019 one late, but 2020, I'm not going to hesitate doing it. I'm going to get straight to it. So guys, thanks so much for tuning back, and I'll see you guys whenever the next video might be. So take care of yourselves. Bye.